Hey guys, Just Boosters here and welcome back to another Making X deck good in 2021. This video dropped a little bit later than the previous installments because I tried to do one each month and now we're already at, let's see, actually the 12th of March. So it's a little bit later than I would have liked. However, with the ban list drop being around the corner, I felt there wasn't really a point in doing a video starting a video series where I tried to make a deck good because the format was bound to change. But the ban list dropped and I'm very happy about that. So now we can finally do this video. And before we get into the actual video, I'd like to point out that the deck I'm gonna be taking a look at this month is actually a deck chosen by you guys, or at least a part of you guys, because I did a poll with a couple of options, which were Metalfoes, Cyber Dragon, Nekroz, and then like an open option for just in case anybody came up with an idea that a lot of people liked and would like thumbs up. But Nekroz actually won. I'm gonna be honest with you, did not expect this. I didn't expect the Nekroz fanbase to be so alive 6 years after the release of the deck, especially after it hasn't seen really any play in the meta for a couple of years. But yeah, let's do a quick introduction of the deck. Nekroz is a ritual-based deck that was introduced in the set The Secret Forces, which was released in the TCG anyway on February 12th, 2015, so actually more than 6 years ago. Kind of crazy to think about. And was widely regarded to be basically the best deck upon the release. The format until that point was basically Shadow and Burning Abyss being arguably the best decks, and then some Clifford and some Stellar Knight also participating in the meta and doing well at events. But when Nekroz was released, I think the general consensus was that it was just the best deck. However, even now 6 years later, I know some people are not yet ready to have this conversation, but even at that point in time, Burning Abyss was actually the best deck. And I'm willing to argue you for this, so, you know, it's just facts, man, it's just facts. Anyway, Nekroz, a ritual-based team. One of the reasons why it was so popular was that it was actually super consistent. You know, with cards like Manju, Senju, Brionek, and like all the in-engine searches. It was not only very consistent, but also brought out cards that were at that particular point in the format very strong. Think of the Nekroz of Brionek, which actually bounces two extra deck monsters to the extra deck, which at that point stopped Dante from triggering, stopped the Shadow fusions from triggering Engrave, and then Trishula, which has an effect much like the Synchro Trishula, where it benches one from the hand, field, and graveyard. The only difference is that Trishula actually needs to bench a card from all of those. So unlike Synchro Trishula, there is really no point going first turn Nekroz of Trishula, for example, because there will be no cards in the graveyard or on the field, most likely anyway. But yeah, the deck was very popular at the time, and I imagine a lot of people actually have fond memories of that format because I myself also enjoyed it a lot. So I'm actually kind of looking forward to exploring what this deck can do in the current format. I do have for this very specific video a pretty interesting list, I wanted to say. I actually didn't even intend to make a video with these replays and this list, but it actually performed way better than I thought. So I figured it might be fun to show to you guys anyway, because it will also give a little bit of a glance into my own personal deck building process when I'm tackling a deck like this, where there's basically not yet a pre-made pre-made deck list for this format. But yeah, I want to say enough rambling. It's time to dive into the deck list, and after that, check out some replays. Okay guys, so first let's take a look at the deck list I made. Probably the first thing you're seeing is that there's actually Drytron cards in here, which might come as a surprise to some of you, or it might not, because, you know, Drytron cards are technically ritual sport. I think previously to this, the most popular build for Nekroz was just pure Nekroz with the incantations, which are similar to Drytron, also ritual sport, but they actually lock you out of the extra deck. And they, well, I'll kind of get into the reason why I think that Drytron is, well, I wouldn't even say better, but I just wanted to try it because it seemed funny. But yeah, let's take a look at the deck list real quick. We are playing triple alpha, so of course you can discard a ritual card or a ritual monster to, or Drytron to add a ritual monster from your deck to your hand. And the thing is, with this, you're of course going to be able to add something like Brionek or Klauslas, where Brio can search a monster, and then Klauslas can search a spell card. So this will technically get you access to any card you want in the deck, basically. Which is why I'm playing this as a 3-off. The next card is Delta. I just wanted to play a couple of names, basically, just in case I already had access to Alpha or what are they called again? Zeta. Which is why I decided to include Delta, which just draws cards, of course. Then Gamma in particular was added into the decklist because I figured it was just the best card to eventually go into Zeus and blow up the opponent's field, and then after that start setting up your own field. So 1 Gamma, and then 1 Zeta, which of course adds a ritual spell. And not just Meteorans, it can add any ritual spell, so I'm actually going to be adding the Nekroz ritual spells of this, because I'm not including Meteorans in the deck for this specific replay. I might actually include it later down the line in the deck, but we'll get to that when we get there. Then I'm playing 1 Manju, which might seem a bit old because it's so strong, but the point of deck is kind of to just drop Venti's Ruler here as the normal summon, and I'm just including Manju just because it is technically searchable. And sometimes you just need it, and I think it's gonna come up in one of the replays, so I can show you guys why it's in there. Then Triple Shuret, this says when it's tributed for a ritual, or I think just tributed in general actually. Yeah, tributed by a card effect, you can add a Nekroz Warrior ritual monster from your deck to your hand, so you can add, for example, Brionek or Trishula. And then also you can use this as basically the entire cost for the ritual summon, so that's pretty good. And this will also help you chain block against cards like Solemn Strike, for example, which is interesting, of course. Then the 1 Vanity Ruler, which I'm going to be adding off the Ben 10. So before this was done with the incantations, but now I think it's a little bit more consistent because of the alpha, actually, and like, you know, the entire combo. I am just playing it at 1, and I was actually playing this at 1 before the balance dropped as well. So nothing changed. I did test it with 3 at first, but I actually didn't like it, so I just cut it down to 1. So I'm quite happy to stay at 1, I want to say. But yeah, it's for the Vanity Ruler combo, basically. Then Triple Brionek, which just adds any Nekroz monster from your deck to your hand. So very good. And then the Unfield effect allows you to bounce 2 extra deck monsters to the extra deck. Then we have Klausulas, which you can discard to add a ritual spell from the deck to the hand. And then its Unfield effect is actually also kind of strong. It's a quick effect. You can target 1 face-up monster on the field with a special one from the extra deck until the end of this turn. That target's attack becomes 0. Also, the target's effects are negated. So this actually is low-key kind of strong. I mean, it's probably not as strong as it used to be, because decks nowadays can just keep pumping out extra deck monsters, but still a pretty decent effect nonetheless. I am including the 1 Decisive Armor here. I must note I'm probably cutting this from the list because it's just, it didn't really feel that good in playtesting, and it really isn't really that necessary, even though its effect where you can banish a face-down spell or trap is kinda, or just a set card, sorry, not just a spell or trap, can be good. And then during either player's turn you can discard it to make a Nekroz monster gain 1000 attack and defense, but it just doesn't really come up. Then I'm playing the 1 Gungnir. This is mostly good against trap-based decks because you can discard a Nekroz card, quick effect to destroy a card in your opponent's field, and then you can pitch it from the hand to protect a monster from a Nekroz monster from being destroyed as well. Then Trishula is, well, I'm not sure if I would call it the boss monster of the deck, but it is the most high impact card, where I talked about it in the intro, of course. It's just like Synchro Trishula, basically, and then also you can discard it from the hand to protect a Nekroz monster from being targeted. Then the other arguable boss monster from this deck is like a Monster Floodgate, where it negates the effects of face-up monsters on the field that were special summoned from the extra deck while it's on the field, and then it can also be discarded to add a Nekroz card, so monster or spell from the graveyard to the hand. So this card is also one of the win conditions, and it allows you to go plus by combining it with Nekroz Kaleidoscope, which we'll be talking about in a bit. And then the last monster I'm playing is Valkyrus, which is kind of like Swift Scarecrow for the deck, and then also you can tribute monsters to draw cards when it's on the field. This used to be one of the most important cards in the deck as well, but I really feel in the current format, it's just because people put up so many negates, it isn't that that relevant anymore, sadly, so you might even consider cutting this down to less than 3, even though that sounds insane for people who played in 2015, basically. Or maybe. Moving on to the spells, I'm playing double Fafnir, which of course will add our Drytron Nova here, but arguably the most important thing about this card is that it's like Magical Meltdown for ritual spells, right? So where it says the activation and the activate effect of ritual spell cards cannot be negated. So this is actually surprisingly strong in this deck. But we'll see that in the replay as well. And then Nova just to tutor out any of the Drytrons we need. For the ritual spell lineup, I'm playing 1 Cycle, double Kaleidoscope, and double Mirror. I really still need to experiment with these ratios. I was just, when I played 6, I was kind of bricking on all the ritual spells. So I think this is probably fine. Basically, Cycle allows you to summon a Nekroz ritual from the graveyard. Then Kaleidoscope allows you to use extra deck monsters to ritual summon. And Nekroz Mirror allows you to banish cards from the graveyard to ritual summon. And then all of them share the effect where if you have no monster on the field, you can banish them along with your Nekroz card to add another ritual spell to the hand, which really gave Nekroz the great recursion it had back when it was the best deck. And then we have a triple Extravagance, just because having more cards is more better. And you don't really care that much about your extract, even though I have to admit in this specific build there are some cards I really would prefer not to banish. But we'll talk about that when we get to the extra deck. And then triple Preparation of Rites cards, of course. Just insane in this deck. You can add a Brionek, which can add basically anything. And then if you have a ritual spell engraved, you can also add that to your hand. This card is absolutely insane in the deck. Then for the extra deck, we have these cards here. Starting from Untus all the way to Star Eater, which are just sends for Kaleidoscope, basically. Untus you can send to bring out Unicorn, and then pop cards on your opponent's field. Herald of the Archtype, which is basically the most important one. You never want to banish all of these. You can send to add a ritual spell or trap, of course. Spell or monster from your deck to your hand when you summon Unicorn. Then I'm playing Quasar as a level 12 and Star Eater as a level 11, just because they might come up when you actually summon multiple ritual monsters with Kaleidoscope, which is something that you can do with this card, actually. Then for the rest of the extra deck, I'm playing double Zeus and double of the Birdie. I would just play 1-1, but because I'm playing Extravagance, that's the reason why there's multiple of these. Then I'm playing the 1 Doubted Magician here, just to get access to the potential double pop for Zeus, and double Link Rebo for the entire Nova Drytron thing. I might actually take out the Extravagance and play another pot card, like maybe Prosperity, and then actually play more Link monsters in the deck, because I feel it might come up with the Drytron cards. But we'll see about that in the next installments. For now, oh, I almost forgot to tell you guys, I do not actually have a side deck here. Like I said, I wasn't intending to use the replays I made with this for the video just yet, because they were literally the first games I played with this deck. And after like many years. However, I really did like how the replays turned out, so I'm gonna include them. They're basically singles against my very good friend Yuri Lansman, who is playing the very best deck of the March 2021 format, so this will definitely be a good test. I mean, I think, yeah, I said everything I want to say. Let's just hop into the replays here. So the first game, I did win rock, paper, scissors here, and I will be electing to go first. So let's see. My hand is gonna be Alpha, Zeta, Extravagance, Gungnir, and Nekroz Mirror. So, I mean, not immediately the strongest of hands, but if we do resolve Extravagance, we will see 2 new cards. So maybe, hopefully, that will get me to something good. So I'm gonna, of course, start with Extravagance and draw 2 cards, which is gonna draw me a Assured and a Kaleidoscope. I mean, basically Alpha is the card here that makes his hand playable, because that will eventually get us access to Unicorn, and that will get us access to Kaleidoscope, of course, via, because we did not banish any Heralds actually, and that will again allow us to dig to other ritual cards. So let's see what I'm gonna do here. I'm gonna go Alpha effect and discard Gungnir here, which of course, I mean, I could have discarded Zeta actually. But you're gonna see that actually later it's not gonna matter that much. And having Gungnir in the graveyard is perfectly fine. But probably discarding Zeta would fit a little bit better. Just kind of blanked on that, I think. Like I said, it's literally the first game I'm playing with this deck. Then I'm gonna go Zeta, ditch the Ben 10, add Cycle here, which is gonna allow us to kind of start playing, and then Ben 10 is gonna add Ruler. I'm not gonna go Cycle, pitch Shurit to bring out Gungnir from the graveyard, and Shurit is gonna get us access to a Warrior Nekroz monster, which is gonna be Bryonek. Then I'm gonna go discard Bryo to get Unicorn to my hand. I'm gonna go to Kaleidoscope. Send Herald, add Bryo to my hand. This is just to set up for next turn, so I do have a search. And then I'm gonna go Tribute Summon the Vanity Shooter. So basically what I have now is my opponent cannot special summon. Then Unicorn negates all extra deck monster effects would they out the Vanity Ruler. And then Gungnir is a quick effect pop on the opponent's turn. So also very good against trap decks. And my opponent is gonna start with Prosperity here. He's gonna go for 3 and he's gonna reveal Strike, Torrential, and Farva. So there we have it, the best deck of the format, ladies and gentlemen. Burning Abyss, the trap variant. I think this is just exactly my list, which Yuri wanted to test for the fun of it. He's gonna add the Torrential to hopefully out my field, which is kind of clever, I want to say, because most likely will only be playing one Gungnir, of course, and it's on the field, so I won't be able to discard to protect my field. Then he's gonna set 2, but I'm gonna go Gungnir effects, pitch my Mirror to pop one of his sets, and he's actually just gonna admit defeat there. So let's just show his hand. His hand was another pot, double BA monsters, which didn't do anything, Dark Magician, and then I think his other set he told me was actually Solemn Strike. So yeah, he was obviously just not winning this one. So kind of an optimal hand from the Nekroz part here. Then moving on to the second game we played, he is gonna start. We did not side, of course, since I did not have a side deck, as you guys saw. His hand is kind of, it's a little bit weird, like he can go for Beatrice Place and set Strike, or go for Fusion, set Strike, and then, you know, have a follow-up in form of discard Graph, Scarm into Tour Guides, which I think is the line he's gonna take. Yeah, he's gonna go Red Ice Fusion here. Bring out Dragoon, set Strike, and that's gonna be it. My hand here is kind of nice. Fafnir is actually an insane top deck right here, because it will stop Dragoon from negating my cards that are gonna bring out the Necklace of Unicorn, and then Unicorn is of course gonna negate Dragoon with its continuous effect. But we first have to get there. I'm gonna go Fafnir, which he's gonna allow. Get Nova, I'm gonna Nova, which he's actually gonna negate, which is quite interesting, I wanna say. He's gonna do the Graph Scarm thing, of course. I'm gonna go discard Clausulas, which he's got a Strike. And now this is just super annoying, because I do not have access to a ritual spell, and it's looking like I won't be able to get access to it either. However, things are not what they seem, because I can actually go prep, I think, for a long time here, and then I search Ben 10. Then of course I'm gonna be able to pitch Ben 10 for my Delta here. Review Unicorn, draw prep, so insane top deck. And then Ben 10 is gonna add Manju, which is of course gonna allow me to search for a ritual spell card, which is gonna be Kaleidoscope, so I can plus some more by bringing out Unicorn, sending Herald, which is what I'm gonna do. In this case, I could have sent Untus and pop his Dragoon, but I think I'm gonna be able to out it anyway. Yeah, of course I'm gonna be able to out it, yeah. So I'm gonna add Mirror, just a misclick there. Then Prep is gonna add me the Brio, and add back the Kaleidoscope, might as well. Then with Brio I'm gonna be able to search for Trishula, and this is just gonna totally blow him out, because at this point I'm gonna go Nekroz Mirror, pitch Shurit, go for Trish, banishes Dragoon, Scarm, so he won't be able to search, and a random card from his hand, which is gonna be Barbar. And then Shurit is gonna get me a Brio for the follow-up next turn. Just shy of game here. I'm pretty sure I could not have gamed him here. I don't think I could have added, what's it called, the size of armor in any way, so leaving him on 100. He's gonna top deck Prosperity, which I think is decent. He's gonna banish 6 because he really needs to pick up something here. And he's gonna review a bunch of traps, Farfa, another Seer, and Libic. Eventually decided to go for Wind Blast. Of course, the Seer is gonna be able to float and maybe prevent him from being gamed next turn. So I'm gonna pick up another Ritual Spell, not the best here. I'm just gonna put everything to attack and swing, which is arguably a little bit of a misplay, because I could have definitely just summoned another monster and then attack for game, but this way, this is just gonna be not game. Anyway, I'm just gonna bring out the... Oh, I actually hit fast forward there. I'm just gonna go Brio to search for the Unicorn, then bring out a Unicorn again with Kaleidoscope, and then with the Herald I'm gonna search another Brionac to again have follow-up. He's actually gonna have an insane top deck here in the form of Tour Guides, but he reckons this will not be enough to actually prevent me from gaming him next turn, and he actually scoops it up. So yeah, kind of short replays here. But I thought they were kind of nice in just showing off that Nekroz can actually do kind of good stuff, of course. In the coming weeks, I will be actually playing Raided with this deck and seeing how this deck fares against the whatever decks people can come up with to, try to be meta in the current format. So that will definitely be interesting. I do hope you guys enjoyed the first part of this series. And that my playing with this deck wasn't that bad. If you did, be sure to leave a like, leave a comment if you want to, and if you're not subscribed yet and do enjoy the content, please consider doing that. And if you do, I will see you in the next one.